Hello students, in the previous videos, that is ILD part 1, ILD part 2 and ILD part 3, we have seen how to draw the influence line diagrams for reactions at supports, shear force and bending moment at a given section for a given type of beam. Now from this video onwards, I am going to discuss the ILD for truss members. We know that every member of a truss carries the axial force only, that is either tension or compression, provided every member is straight and the members are connected at their ends by means of hinges. Now with this video, I am starting with the ILD for the members of a bridge truss. The procedure for the ILD of the members of a roof truss is similar. Now before going for the ILD for the members of a bridge truss, let us understand the bridge floor system first. Now in bridge floor system, a concrete floor is provided along the roadway or the railway. Now this concrete floor is supported by means of steel beams called as stringers and which are laid along the length of the roadway or the railway. These stringers are in turn supported by means of cross beams called as cross girders or floor beams. So concrete floor, it is supported by means of stringers. So these are the stringers which I have shown them by means of green lines. So these green lines indicate the stringers. Now on the top of these stringers, now it is the plan of the floor system. Now so stringers are along the length, the floor is placed on the top of the stringers. So stringers are laid and on the top of the stringers the concrete floor is provided. Now these stringers are supported by means of cross beams called as cross girders or floor beams. And these floor beams which I have shown by means of these red lines, these floor beams are either supported along the bottom panel points or along the top panel points of the two parallel trusses. So here I have shown the first case. Now these red lines indicate the floor beams. So these floor beams are supported along the bottom panel points of these two parallel trusses. So if the arrangement is like this, it is called as a through type of truss. Whereas if these cross beams or floor beams are supported along the top panel points of the trusses which are parallel to one another, which I have shown over here, such an arrangement is called as a deck type of truss. So roadway or railway over here is along the bottom line of bottom chord line of the trusses, whereas here the roadway or railway is along the top chord line of the trusses. So there are two types of trusses, through type of truss and deck type of truss. Now in case of through type of truss, the unit load, or in order to draw the ILD for the members of a through type of truss, the unit load is supposed to move along the bottom chord line and it is supposed to take the positions which are called as panel point positions. So if I want to draw ILD for this truss, the unit point load, its first position will be this first panel point, then the second position will be second panel point, third will be the third panel point, and this is how the unit load is supposed to move from one panel point to another panel point. So this is what you will have to remember while drawing the influence line diagrams for the members of a truss. So now I have considered a N type of truss having 6 panels, each of length L as shown in figure. Now let H is the height of this truss and let U0, U1, U2 are the top chord panel points. L0, L1, L2, L3 are the bottom chord panel points. These horizontal members at the top are called as top chord horizontal members. These horizontal members are called as bottom chord horizontal members. There are vertical members also. There are inclined members also. Now we know that every member in a truss carries an axial force, either tension or compression. Now here we are going to draw ILD for these internal forces in the members. Now the compressive force I am going to treat it as positive, whereas tensile force I am going to treat it as negative. Now let us draw the ILD for reactions first. Now ILD for reactions in case of a truss can be drawn by using the same method which we used in case of beams, simply supported beams. Now here when you want to draw ILD for RA, mark 1 at A and mark 0 at B, join these 2 points by means of a straight line, and this triangle represents the ILD for RA. Whereas in order to draw the ILD for RB, mark 1 at B, mark 0 at A and join these 2 points. So this triangle represents the ILD for RB. Now we know that, or let us consider that this truss is a through type of truss. So in case of through type of truss, the load moves along the bottom chord panel points. The load positions are like this: L0, then L1, then L2 and then L3. So this is how the load is going to move along the bottom chord panel points. Means the load is taking different positions. When the load is at L0, RA is 1. When the load is at L1, RA is going to be this ordinate, whereas RB will be this ordinate. It is what we know from the basics of ILD. So when the load is at position L2, RA will be this ordinate, RB will be this ordinate. And these ordinates can be obtained by using similar triangle method. So if this ordinate is small a, then 1 divided by total 6L is equal to a divided by this 5L will give you this ordinate, which works out to be 5 by 6, 4 by 6, 3 by 6, 2 by 6 and 1 by 6. Similarly, the ordinates for RB can be obtained as 5 by 6, 4 by 6, 3 by 6, 2 by 6, 1 by 6, etc. So this is how the ILD for RA and RB can be drawn. Let us see how the ILD for the top chord horizontal members is to be drawn. Now I am considering U0, U1, and let us consider that ILD for U0, U1 is to be drawn. Now in order to get the ILD for U0, U1, which means the ILD for the force in this member U0, U1, and in order to get the force in this member, we will have to use either the method of sections or method of joints. But here method of sections will work out to be simple, and that is why I am using the method of sections. Usually in order to get the ILD for any particular member, means the force in a certain member is to be obtained, and in such cases the method of sections is useful. So to get the force in U0, U1, I will have to pass a section. So I am passing a section. This section should cut the truss into 2 parts. At the same time, it should not cut more than 3 members. So this section line satisfies both the conditions. It is cutting the truss into 2 parts and it is cutting 3 members, not more than 3. So this is the section which is going to give us the force in the member U0, U1. Again, here I want to draw the ILD for force in member U0, U1. So I am going to consider 2 cases, case 1 and case 2. I have shown this section. Now this is that truss, this section has been shown. Now in case 1, I am going to consider that the load is in the left part. So load is to the left part of this section. This is my case 1. Case 2, the load moves in the right part or moves to the right part, means when the load is in left part, means to the left of this section, the only possible position for the load, unit load, is L0. So L0 is the load position when the load is in left part. Now when the load moves to the right part, the possible load positions are L1, that is this, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6. So when the load is in right part, these are the possible load positions. When the load is in the left part, the possible load position is L0. Again, when the load is in the left part, get the value of the force in the considered member from the right part. Remember it well. So when the load is assumed in the left part, don't go with the left part, consider the right part, and from this right part you will have to get the force in the member. So this is the section, and when the load is in the left part, I will be getting the value of the shear force in this member from the right part. But again, as I am using the method of sections and these three members are getting cut, the assumption which is to be made is that assume the forces in all the cut members as tensile forces. So I have shown the tensile forces. I have shown it in the right part because load is in left part and I want to deal with the right part. So the forces have been shown tensile. Now when I want to get the force in this member U0, U1, remember the procedure of method of sections. When you want to get the force in a certain member, forget about that member and concentrate on the remaining two members. So I am going to concentrate on these two members as I want the force in this member. So check whether these two forces are meeting in point or not. Yes, they are meeting in L1. So L1 is the point about which the moment is to be taken because I want the force F U0 U1. So when I take the moment over here, there are two forces RB into distance is 5L and F U0 U1 which is the force in that member U0 U1 into distance, and this height is h. Now both are anti-clockwise in nature. So the moments are minus RB into 5L minus F U0 U1 into the height h, and this equation will give us F U0 U1 5L is equal to 5L RB upon h. Now when the load moves to the right part, then we will have to deal with the left part, and that is what I have done. I am dealing with the left part, and that is why I have shown the truss on the right part by means of dotted lines, because I don't want to deal with the right part, I want to deal with the left part. Again, I can see that three members are getting cut, so all the members are carrying tensile forces. This is what the assumption. So all the members are carrying tensile forces, and I want to get the force F U0 U1. Now in order to get this force, forget about that force and consider the remaining two forces. Are they meeting? Yes, they are meeting in L1. So take the moment about L1. So it is quite clear. In order to get the force in member U0 U1, whether you are considering the left part or the right part, the moment, the point of moment is the point L1. And when I take moment about L1, then RA into L, RA into this distance which is L, the panel length, is equal to F U0 U1 into H. Now both the both of these moments are going to be positive, so clockwise. So when I take it right to the right, it will be negative, and the value will be F U0 U1 which is equal to minus RA into L divided by H. Here also F U0 U1 is equal to minus 5L RB upon H. Now my assumption is that all the three cut members are carrying tensile forces, but I am getting a negative sign. It simply means that in both of these cases the force in U0 U1 will work out to be negative because I have assumed that the force is tensile. So I will have to change the direction, and this force will be compressive. So F U0 U1 in both the cases will work out to be positive, that is compression. Now with this information I can draw the ILD for U0 U1. Now how to draw? Let us see. So draw a baseline first. So I am drawing the baseline. So it is that horizontal baseline. Now when the load is at L0, load position is L0, the load is in the left part, so L0 means the load is over here. When the load is over here, F U0 U1 is equal to 5L into RB divided by H with positive sign because I have changed the nature of the force. 5L into RB divided by H. So RB is what? So when the load is over here, the F U0 U1 is governed by RB, but RB is 0 itself, so I will be getting it as 0. So when the load is over here, RB is 0, I am substituting it over here, so F U0 U1 works out to be 0. Now when the load moves to L1, means the next panel point, but L1 is not there for when the load is considered in the left part. L1 is in the second case, and that is why when load is having this position L1, FU0 U1 is governed by RA, and I will have to consider the corresponding value of RA. When the load is over here, RA is equal to 5 by 6. I will have to substitute it over here, and the value will work out to be 5L divided by 6H. So this value will be 5L divided by 6H. Now when the load moves to this position L2, again it is that load position L2, and FU0 U1 is to be obtained from that equation. When the load is over here, RA is what? 4 by 6. So this is how this value will be 4 by 6 L upon H. Next value will be 3 by 6 L upon H. Next to that is 2 by 6 L upon H. Next is 1 by 6 L upon H. And all these values are to be joined in this manner to get the ILD for U0, U1. So you can get the ILD by considering this method. But again, there is one shortcut method also. Now, in order to explain the shortcut method, I have considered the same truss over here. Now, I want to draw ILD for U0, U1, and I should take a section over here. So when I take a section over here, when I want to get the force in U0, U1, I will have to take the moment at L1. When I want to get the force in U1, U2, I will have to take this section and I will have to consider this moment at L2. When the force in U2, U3 is required, I will have to take a section over here and I will have to take a moment at L3. So for U0, U1, take moment at L1. For U1, U2, take moment at L2. For U2, U3, take moment at L3. Because the force in this member and the horizontal member are meeting in this joint, and that is why as I want to eliminate these two forces, in order to get FU0, U1, I will have to take the moment about L1. Similarly, in order to eliminate the forces in these two cut members and to get the force in U1, U2, I will have to take the moment about L2. So this is how, when you want to get the force in U0, U1, take moment about L1. And moment about L1, and this force will be equal, force in U0, U1 will be equal to moment about L1 divided by H. Force in U1, U2 will be equal to ML2, means moment about L2 divided by H, because H is the height of the truss. Force in U2, U3 is going to be, means this member will be the moment about L3 divided by H. Moment about L1 means at this point. Now we know that unit load is moving, so unit load is over here, and moment at this point can easily be worked out as the using the formula WAB upon L. W is 1, A is this distance which is L, B is that distance 5L divided by 6L is the total span. So L into 5L divided by 6L is the moment, into H will be the height. So 5L divided by 6H will be the ordinate, and once you get this ordinate, you will have to join the end points, that is 0 and 0 on this end, by means of straight lines. Similarly, when I want to draw ILD for U1, U2, means this member, means this is that member, I will have to consider a section like this, and then I will have to take the moment about L2. So moment about L2 divided by H will be the force in U1, U2. Moment about L2 will be WAB upon L. W is 1 unit load, A is this distance which is equal to 2L, B is the remaining distance which is equal to 4L. So 2L into 4L divided by total span, that is 6L into H, and it works out to be 4L divided by 3H. We have taken the moment about L2, and that is why at this position, means below the L2, you will have to write this value 4L divided by 3H. Join these two positions, and this will be the ILD for U1, U2. In order to get the ILD for the force in U2, U3, pass a section like this, take a moment about L3. Moment about L3 means about this point, and this moment will be ML3 divided by H. This value is nothing but the force in U2, U3. So WAB is the moment, A is 3L, B is 3L, divided by 6L is the total span into H. So 3L by 2H will be the value, and that is why I will have to show this value over here, and this is going to be the ILD for U2, U3. Now, when this value is 3L divided by 2H, so that completes the first half part of the truss. Now for the remaining half, the diagrams will get repeated, and which are going to be the diagrams like this. Now ILD for U0, U1 and ILD for U5, U6, ILD for U1, U2, ILD for U4, U5 and ILD for U2, U3. So let us start from the central part. ILD for U2, U3 is going to be same. So U2, U3 ILD is this one. Now for U3, U4 the ILD will be same. This is 3L divided by 2 H. Now this is ILD for U3, U4. So these two are the central spans. Then ILD for U1, U2 and U4, U5 will be same, with the only difference that, see what is the difference? For ILD for U1, U2, the maximum ordinate is 4 by 6, U1, U2 maximum ordinate is 4L divided by 3H. So for U4, U5 it will also be 4L by 3H, but it will be on the other side of the center and it will be like this. So it will be under L4, it is 3L divided by, now U3, U4 it will be 3L by 2H. Now this will be 4L divided by 3H. So this ordinate will get repeated, but it will be on the other side, and the ILD for U5, U6 will be similar to ILD for U0, U1, with the only difference that for U0, U1 the maximum ordinate is 5L by 6 and 6H, and it is below this L1, whereas for U5, U6 the maximum ordinate will be same 5L by 6H, but it will be on the other side, that is on this side. So maximum ordinate will be over here and it will be a triangle of this type. So this is how the ILD for all the members can be drawn. All these diagrams are above the baseline. It is because all the members carry the compressive forces. If the members are carrying the tensile forces, the diagrams are to be plotted below the baseline. In the next videos, I am going to discuss the ILD for bottom chord horizontal members, the vertical members and inclined members. But before watching all these ILDs for truss members, you should watch the previous video, that is method of sections in analysis of trusses. Thanks.